All right, folks. Now let us discuss the question from March 2020 AAA Advanced Audit Assurance Exam and the requirement, as you can see, explain the matters to be considered by Moritz and Company before accepting the engagement to review and report on Levenza Company's prospective financial information. 6 marks, mostly knowledge based. Right now, let us look at the scenario over here, which saying it is July 2005. You are manager in Moritz and Company, a firm of chartered certified accountants which offers a range of services to audit and non-audit clients. Your firm has been asked to consider a potential engagement to review and provide an insurance report on prospective financial information (PFI) for Levenza Company, which is not an audit client of your firm. Moritz Company has already conducted specific client identification procedures in line with money laundering regulations with satisfactory results. Levenza Company has approached your firm in order to obtain an identified assurance opinion on a cash flow forecast which is being prepared for its bankers in support of an application for an increase in existing overdraft facility. The following cash flow forecast has been prepared by Levenza Co. for the 12 months to 30th June 2006. And then here are some of information which we have to use for the other requirements. Straight away, let us jump and let's draft the answer. Now, firstly, my it's the scenario related to Levenza company, right? First heading, matters to consider before accepting the engagement. Now, what I'll say, before accepting the review engagement, to review and provide an assurance report on Levenza company cash flow forecast uh, ISAE 3400 identify number of matters which need to be considered. And number one, what's that? The intended use of information. What's that? Moritz and company must consider, for example, whether the cash flow forecast and assurance report will be used solely for the purpose of increase in Lavenza company's overdraft facility. If Lavenza company is planning to use the assurance report for purposes other than an extension to its current overdraft. For example, to arrange new loan finance from company's bank, this must be made clear to Moritz and Company. Then next is whether the information will be for general or limited distribution. General or limited distribution. What I'll say, Moritz and Company will need to consider who will receive the report and potentially rely upon it as this will impact on the firm's assessment. The firm's uh, assessment of the risk associated with the engagement. If the cash flow forecast is intended for general distribution, This will increase the level of risk assessment, level of risk for Moritz and Co. As larger audience will rely upon it. In this case, if the information will be used solely in support of the application, to the bank and will not be available to other parties. This should be confirmed before accepting the engagement. And will reduce the risk of assignment. Now, next, the period covered by the cash flow forecast and key assumptions used. Moritz and Company must also consider the period covered by the cash flow forecast and the key assumptions which have been used in its preparation. Short-term forecasts are likely to be easier to verify and provide. Assurance on the longer term. On the longer term projections. The prospective financial information bracket PFI short term engagement should not be accepted when the assumptions used in its preparation are clearly unrealistic or when the party practitioner believes that um, that PFI will be inappropriate for its intended use. In case of Levenza company, although in case of Levenza company, although the forecast is only for 12 months, the growth rates assumed in relation to its operating cash receipts. Operating cash receipts, for example, be judged be judged to be unrealistic given recent trends in its business and the requested overdraft facility. A facility of $17 million for the next 6 months may prove to be insufficient. Next, heading the scope of work. What I'll say in the scope of work that Moritz and company will need to consider the specific terms of engagement, will need to consider specific terms of the engagement, the level of assurance being sought by Lavenza O and the form of the report on the cash flow forecast. Only or is the firm or only or is the firm also being asked to report on accompanying narrative or other PFI. Due to the uncertainty of forecasts and the inevitable subjectivity to weather management assumptions, assumptions provides the reasonable uh, for the cash flow forecast and to give an opinion as to whether it is properly prepared on the basis of these assumptions. Right, so far so good. We get how much we got? Just a second. Yeah, one, two, three, four. 4 marks we scored. Now for the fifth mark, let us discuss on resources and skills. Fifth marks. Let us discuss the resources and skills the firm consider needs to consider whether it has sufficient staff available with the appropriate skills and experience needed to perform the PFI engagement. For Levenza company. Moritz and company should also consider whether it can meet the deadline for completing the work and whether it will have access to all relevant information and client staff. Given the company's predicted 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 Need for cash in the next 6 months presumably the extended overdraft facility will need to be provided very soon, and this may lead to Moritz and Co. being under pressure to meet a tight or reporting deadline. Lastly, I will discuss on the client integrity. According to ISQC 1, Moritz and Company must also consider the integrity of Levenza Company, management in relation to acceptance decision. In particular, the firm should consider management reasons for appointing a different firm, for appointing a different firm from its auditors, and the potential for management bias in the preparation of a cash flow forecast. In support of its required overdraft facility. So that's it. This is the answer for this part of the question. I hope it's clear to you folks. See you in another video for next requirement.